you know what, I'm not gonna do this anymore. I'm not gonna take any more medications. I'm letting this go out of my hands. It's not for me to decide. And God, if you want me to have another child, then I will. Then I will. And then I will. And then I will. We were told by our doctors that we may not be able to have children. And at that time, we decided we would work with fertility medications and try to have a child. And after months and months of lots of medications every day, we were able to become pregnant and we had our son, Nicholas. But when we decided to have a second child, we started to have the same problems all over again. And it came down to taking those same medications every day. And a few months into that, I just couldn't take it anymore. And I just remember saying to God one day that, you know what, I'm not gonna do this anymore. I'm not gonna take any more medications. I'm letting this go out of my hands. It's not for me to decide. And God, if you want me to have another child, then I will. And then we came to church one Sunday and there was a guest speaker, Joe Phillips. And I had never heard of him. Didn't mean anything to me, but I thought, okay, a guest speaker. And he spoke and I listened and I just felt something that day. And he did an altar call and he was calling for people that needed healing. And he said a few different things, but he said specifically, if you need healing for female problems. And it was just like this light went off. I knew it was for me. He was calling for me. God was going to heal me that day. It's why I was in church. It's why we had started coming to praise. We didn't know what had drawn us to praise. But when I heard him say that, I knew why we were there. And when he came to me, he didn't ask what I needed. He didn't ask what type of healing I was hoping for. He just put his hand on my head and he started to pray. And he prayed for a minute and then he stopped. And he looked at me and he said, put your hands here. And he placed my hands over my abdomen. And I started crying because he didn't know. He didn't know what healing I needed. But God knew. We got in the car to drive home and I told my husband. And I don't know that he believed me right away because it's just incredible to go to church one Sunday morning expecting nothing and walk out with a healed body. But that day I had heat, warmth, and muscle contractions throughout my abdomen, and I just knew. That was the beginning of November, and having not been taking fertility medications for at that point 6 to 8 weeks, I found out on December 26th that we were expecting our daughter.